Therefore, while it may sound trite to say that when we raise up our consciousness, we make the world a better place, it's anything but trite. That is the truth. It's the absolute truth. Make no mistake about it. When we live powerfully, we prove divine principle, and we raise the bar for ourselves and for everyone else. And this automatically lifts up the people around us. Our example raises their consciousness. It's an invitation. It's an inspiration. And I would go so far as to say it's a duty. Because once we become aware of divine principle and how it works, it's incumbent upon us to live as its highest expression. It's our responsibility to show as much of Spirit living through us as we possibly can in every moment. We are God's means of demonstration, of representation. Last month, I gave a talk entitled The Journey in God, and if you weren't here, I highly recommend you purchase the CD, or better yet, watch the video on YouTube. It's an excellent message, and I don't mean to brag, I'm just saying it was a really good lesson. No, really, I don't. Raymond Charles Barker said, always speak highly of yourself. It's never socially acceptable, but it's always spiritually correct. But that lesson for us was a deep exploration of what it means to live in total unification with the divine. And today we are taking that concept of unification even further out of ourselves into our world of experience. And we are actually looking at the material aspects of our lives. The stuff, the things. Now, if you have the luxury of having arrived at a place in consciousness where you can meditate in a cave all day, every day, and you only need air to survive, then there's no point in staying, because you already know what I'm going to say. But the rest of you, stay in your seats and listen carefully. Pay attention. How many of you are familiar with Emma Curtis Hopkins? Okay. How many of you love her? How many of you are familiar with Emma Curtis Hopkins and are a little bit afraid of her? How many of you are taking my Emma Curtis Hopkins class and are a little bit afraid of me? Well, if you're not, you better be, because here we go. Emma Curtis Hopkins, for those of you who are not familiar with her, was one of the most powerful metaphysical teachers who has ever lived. And though her life and work spanned the late 19th and early 20th century, her message is as relevant in this moment today as it ever was. One of her central claims is, "There is good for me, and I ought to have it." There is good for me, and I ought to have it. Now, a typical response from us might be, "Oh yeah? Well, how do I get it?" This is what we want to know, right? We want to get it out of here and into our world. How do I get it? In a nutshell, Emma's answer would be practice, right? My students, practice. Emma's answer to everything is practice. In fact, she guarantees that if we follow the practices she has designed, that we will have all the good we desire and deserve. But we have to do this consistently. I was going to say religiously. I don't mean that. I mean consistently. In the Emma Curtis Hopkins paradigm, manifesting our good entails a series of denials followed by affirmations. So denials or negations followed by affirmations. The first step is simply acknowledging that there is good in the universe and that we ought to have it. We must also recognize that our good is our God. Okay? God and good are the same thing, one and the same thing. For example, our love, our wealth, our health, our creativity, all those things we think of as good are God, right? Our love is God, our wealth is God, our health is God, our creative expression is God. Our work is God, our relationships are God. Everything in our world is God. Everything we see as beauty is God. Everything we see as not beauty is God. Wherever we observe good, we must become accustomed to thinking of it as spirit in form. And I want you to be clear about this because very soon we'll be returning to this very idea. So, once we recognize the good, which is the only truth, it's very easy to spot what is not true. Seeing the truth illumines what is not the truth. And for Emma, it's not enough just to see and understand what is not true. We have to openly speak about it. She is big on speaking out about the truth. She's also big about speaking out about the not truth, because we have to deny it power. So the first movement of our mind is acknowledging the good and our entitlement to it. The second movement of our mind is putting away any ideas that would interfere with our having that good. And we accomplish this piece by negating what is not true. Emma offers us 5 denials that cover the general areas of life. Number 1, there is no evil. Number 2, there is no reality to matter. Number 3, there is no absence of life, substance, or intelligence anywhere. Number 4, there is nothing hurtful. Number 5, there is no sin, sickness, or death. If I'm going a little fast, ask me about these later. Denials can be very powerful. And when we adopt Emma's approach to abundant living, we see just how powerful they truly are and how necessary they are. When we include denial or negation as a regular part of our spiritual practice, everything we deny disappears from our experience. And this can happen very, very quickly. Take number 5, for example. There is no sickness, sin, or death. When we repeat this statement aloud on a regular basis, improved health and increased vitality logically follow, because anything unlike the perfect health of spirit goes away. It's released from our consciousness and it is gone. Let's look at number 4. There is nothing hurtful. When we become convinced of the validity of this statement through repetition of it, hurtful people, situations, and circumstances disappear from our experience. And what remains is nurture and love and support, all good things. Whatever we deny leaves our experience.